What's going on, Internet? The Black Okage here, aka TBH, and to be honest, I'd like to welcome you guys back to the Game and Illuminaughty podcast. We are the Enlightened Gamers, and this is episode
136.
If you're watching the video version of the show at youtube.com/GI updates, know the show is available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and all other major podcast platforms. Also, the video is also available on Spotify as well. Be sure to rate the show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. We need your 5-star rating to help us move up in that algorithm and bring in new potential listeners. Follow the podcast on social media. We drop daily content on all our social media pages now. We're available on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Our handle on every platform is at GI Updates. We drop daily content once again. Patreon.com/GI Updates if you would like to financially back the show. It also gets you into our Discord. It's a one-time fee to join the Discord. We don't kick you out if you can't do reoccurring payments. The fee is just to keep the weirdos out, so we can keep the Discord high quality. Once again, that's patreon.com/GI Updates. Now, allow me to introduce you to my co-host, the first of which is always on the move, so he doesn't have time to beat his games. He's always talking about, oh, I got a family, oh, I got kids. I'm just like, grow up, beat your games, get your priorities straight. UTX, JG the Don. Why aren't you getting any trophies?
We want to talk about trophies. We not gonna talk about it right now.
So, you said we have some. We got some evidence to talk about.
Trophies. We go get to it soon enough. As soon as whoever we're talking about starts popping off, all right? He's going on trial. It's crazy. It's been almost a year later, right? We're almost about to wrap around the sun.
We might have another trial coming for y'all, chat, and it ain't me.
I'm ashamed to, that it's about to come to this. Like, seriously, I'm really ashamed. But anyways, I do have priorities. As I just came back from another vacation. I have to keep my body and my mind fresh so that I can continue to not beat these games. Okay, I have to continue to keep it fresh. Okay?
I respect that.
Yeah. So let's get on with another podcast. We got a lot to talk about.
And my second co-host is currently recording live from the doctor's office. The doctor called in to check to see if he's still considered an enemy of the state. Survey says he still is. Ito, say what up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? I need y'all help to get me out of Russia. I'm in Russia right now.
All right. My man's is in Russia.
Hit the like button.
If you're watching, I'm not even watching. But before we get into the show, of course you're watching. I can't talk. I think we're all tired.
Watching, listening, it's both.
Yeah, we're professionals.
Whatever.
We've been doing this for like 10 years. We know what we're doing. Before we get into the show, freebies for the month of December 2022. On PlayStation, you guys get Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which, by the way, like last week, like a couple days ago when I was streaming, like 5 different people came in the chat. Yo, I finally played Mass Effect because it's free, like on PlayStation or whatever, bro. I see what you were talking about. I don't know what it is, man. It's like a reoccurring theme. We try to put people on. Y'all don't listen. You just play Call of Duty 2K. 10, 15 years later, I guess better late than never. I'm glad to see y'all seeing the light. So yeah, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is free on PlayStation, as well as Biomutant and Divine Knockout. And then on Xbox you get Colt Canyon and then Bladed Fury. I don't know what any of that shit is. Xbox, y'all got to step it up on the free games. With the freebies out of the way, it is now time to get into the leading conversations of the show. So since the last show, the annual Game Awards happened, and that is an all-encompassing celebration of the gaming industry. You have all different types of categories, but we all know which one matters the most, which is which game is Game of the Year. Now, before we talk about the results and how we feel about all that, one reason also to watch the Game Awards is because it's full of announcements. You get world premieres, new gameplay for games that we know are coming on the way. I think that's actually the main reason a lot of people watch. So let's kind of go over a little bit of these announcements. I actually have like a little chart here showing everything that they announced. I'm going to move the camera over here. So some highlights include Death Stranding 2, not for me, but I know for somebody. Hades 2. This Crime Boss game it looked interesting. It looked like GTA with all the Gen X movie stars. There's a new like 2D Bayonetta that got announced. Armor Core from Software, the new one got announced. This is 6, right? Ethos?
Yes, this is 6.
New Armor Core, Crash Team Rumble. That one was really interesting because I don't think anybody saw a team-based objective Crash Bandicoot game coming, some Diablo 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor that stole the show, Street Fighter 6. It was a ton of games. What stuck out to y'all? Was there anything you're excited for from the show, Jay?
Oh, definitely the new Jedi game, 100%. I think that was one of the games that I know that personally GI was looking forward to, because it seemed like unanimously we liked the first one, and we were just waiting on mainly a date. Like, I think that we pretty much seen enough, but even this new trailer that they showed, it looked really, really good. So we're looking forward to that. So that's going to be a heavy hitter for 2023. That Crime Boss game, like, it had a lot of stars in there. So I'm hoping whatever that this game ends up being, that it's not going to be like cheesy or whatever. Because I don't want it to go the GTA route, but also, necessarily don't want it to go like the Mafia route. Like, I can see it going either which way. So I'm just curious. I want to see more as to like which direction that they're going to go, but it's clearly in Miami or some adaptation of Miami, so we'll see how that one goes. Armored Core, I've never played an Armored Core in my life, but multiple people have been saying that it's fire. I know that it's also from software, so I know the Ethos has more expertise with that one. So I might hop on this one. We'll see how this one goes. I know that there's a niche community that does like Armored Core, so that should be cool when it comes out. So those are the main ones that stuck out to me.
Yeah, I'm actually genuinely curious to hear why you love Armored Core so much, Ethos, because I've never played it either.
It's mecha. I'm a huge mecha fan. That's like all it is. It's just a big. Did you play that Mercenaries game that was on the Xbox Game Pass?
No, I played Chrome Hounds on the Xbox 360. Chrome Hounds.
Okay, I don't think I played that one. I mean, like, to be fair, like my experience with Armored Core isn't like vast. Like, I played like one or two of them in and out, but I wasn't like a huge like I played every single second. But from what I played when I was younger, I did enjoy them. I was like a mech person, so I always enjoyed mech games. And this one's kind of like I will kind of warn people that, like, people who just aren't aware of the series, is that don't expect this to be a Souls game, because it's not. It's an action game. Like, this was what they worked on before they started doing the whole Dark Souls thing. So
that's why I was surprised. Yeah, that they actually. Yeah. I was like, they made this game, because from what I remember, it was like a straight up action game.
Yeah, it's more straight up action game. It's not very. It is very tactical in the idea that, like, you have to really, you spend so much time like fine tuning, like a racing game, but you do it for your mech. So you're like fine tuning like every single aspect of it, how much weight certain like parts of your mech are, how fast is it gonna go, what type of weaponry you're gonna put on the mech, that sort of stuff. So it has that like complexity that like Elden Ring had when it comes to like creating your own character. Feel like it's like that aspect, but with your mech, it has that like depth of customization. But like from a gameplay standpoint, from what I remember, it's not like Dark Souls. So I think some people who just recently got onto like the From Software fans who are like, I played Sekiro and I enjoyed it, or I played Elden Ring and I got into it because of Elden Ring. Some of them might just automatically assume, oh, this is From Software, so it must be just a Souls, Cyber Souls, or that's what I've seen some people say, or just mislabel it as like some sort of like Souls game. But so to answer that question, unless they change the formula completely, and after Elden Ring, that could totally happen for all we know, because they could be totally doing some crazy new stuff with the Armored Core, since it's been such a long time since the last game came out. But yeah. If
you're looking for more Soulsborne type games, one was actually announced during the award show, the Lords of the Fallen, which I could have swore.
Does that relate to the OG one?
Yeah, there's another Lords of the Fallen that came out in 2014.
That one was.
Is that a sequel? Like, that's what I was confused about.
The Lords.
I googled Lords of the Fallen, and it says it's produced by
Hexworks.
The developer, it says it's Deck 13, but it says, but this Lords of the Fallen is developed by Hexworks. Is that's not the same company, is it?
The CI game, so the publisher, it's the same publisher that published those Sniper Ghost Warrior games, and Lord of the Fallen, which is that.
So is this a reboot? Is it a
remake then? Yeah, remake a reboot.
So the Steam one, at least I'm looking at right now, was Lords of the Fallen. I think it's a reboot, because if you go on Steam and you search up Lords of the Fallen, they changed the name of it to now say 2014. So this might be a reboot. This might be like, okay, we're gonna try it. We're gonna try again.
The original doesn't exist. Ooh, okay.
Like they're trying to erase it.
Modern Warfare. Maybe like how they did Modern Warfare. Ooh, that was 2014.
Well, if it is a reboot,
22 or whatever.
I hope they do something to make it stand out. Because I actually remember playing the original one. It was literally just a straight up Soulsborne knockoff. It did
Except
nothing.
it wasn't good.
Yeah, like it didn't do anything to stand out. So like I hope they're gonna do something with that. Remnant 2 looked cool that they announced. It's a co-op shooter. Did you play? You played the original Remnant, didn't you, Ethos?
Yeah, I played a little bit. I didn't beat it though, but I did play a
Thank
good
you for
amount of it.
confirming you don't beat games. Let's see.
You're welcome. You can add that. You can mark that one as one I didn't beat. I think JG beat it.
You played that? You played the game, Jack?
I'm pretty sure JG played it. Didn't
I
you play
played that game. I don't even remember. I don't remember if I played this.
Somebody I thought in GI actually played it all the way through and beat it. Was it Ace?
I thought it was you.
No. Wasn't me.
It
wasn't.
I didn't play this one.
Yeah, I didn't play that game.
Yeah, I played it, but I didn't have.
This sequel looks cool. The first one, it just something about it. It didn't speak to me, but this sequel looks really good. Jedi Survivor, that this man got a beard, so I already know that shit gonna be fire. He gonna be mad stressed out, and I'm here for it.
He definitely looks stressed out.
The Cowcast is coming through. I am really curious to see how this is gonna tie in because they are working within the confines of the original trilogy. There's only so much they can do, so I'm really curious to see how he's gonna shape the story and what role is he gonna play. Final Fantasy.
I'm surprised they brought back the blade, the hilt. Because the only person in Star Wars that's had that weapon is Kylo. So it's kind of interesting to see, like, they're kind of like retconning it backwards as if, like, you know, I think they've been done that, but they basically are like showing like, oh no, this type of lightsaber existed even before the sequels. It's just no one apparently used it because they just made it up recently. So that'll be cool to see.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 16 got a new trailer too. That should look fire per usual.
Hades 2 look good.
It's crazy how quick people forgot the controversy behind that game. With the
Nobody cares at the end of the day. They're still gonna play it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, what he said was messed up. It was totally messed up, but we still.
I criticized, but I still said I was playing the game.
Wait, JG, you said people on the internet just be talking?
Yes.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
They were talking about, cancel this man and da 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 da. I'm like, bro, you can just criticize him and call it a day, bro. Like,
all right.
Yeah.
Some of these people be crazy.
Y'all care about Death Stranding too?
Can be true at the same time.
My bad.
We can do this one wrong and then still enjoy the product. So
it looks interesting. Like, I look forward to watching it on YouTube. But like, if they show new gameplay of it and maybe Kojima takes the criticism of why some people didn't like the whole like just delivery man, and it becomes more, I guess, more involved instead of walking around. If that happens, then I would give it a shot. If like that seems to be like how he takes the direction of the second one. But if it's just more delivery man stuff, then yeah, I think I'll just watch a YouTube playthrough of it. I haven't touched them since.
Yeah, I'm not touching that shit. I'll watch somebody play it, especially because his games are interactive movies anyway. New Transformers got announced too. Transformers Reactive. It was actually a lot of games that got revealed. No gameplay was shown, but we got a new Transformers game coming. I'm really curious to see what they do with that. A lot of them have just kind of been like third person shooters. I would like to see that series dig a little bit deeper, especially because they're literally robots. They're literally cars that transform into robots. I feel like there's a lot more you could do mechanically with that other than just pew 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 pew.
Or for Cybertron was a great game. It didn't deserve to die like that.
I think I'm more interested in the one because Splash Damage is doing this one, and I'm curious to see because that last one that Platinum Games did was pretty bad.
What is Splash Damage known for?
They did Dirty Bomb.
Yep, Dirty Bomb.
Remember Dirty Bomb? Yeah, they did that. That was, I think, their last.
I don't care what you say, TJ. That game was good.
It was alright. It was alright. But y'all talking about Dirty Bomb like it's Titanfall or something.
No, you know what's crazy is like I feel like anytime I bring up Dirty Bomb, there's like two camps. Either you think it's fire, or you just I didn't care for it. Like that's it. Like those, I've never seen someone in the middle.
We used to play that game, but I felt like we played that game because it was free to play. Like it was just something to play. Yeah. Like I wasn't like in love with that game.
It was a free to play shooter in like 2014, 2015. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, you definitely
also made Brink. And I still cape for Brink, bro.
I
cap.
It
was ahead of his time, bro.
It was ahead of its time. Exactly. I will always push that agenda every second I can.
Oh, this is why you can't give old heads a gaming podcast. Always talking about Sega Dreamcast and.
Hey, you're talking to the person who's still begging about Titanfall. You know, it's getting so bad now that when people tweet, someone sent me this tweet. They're tweeting now, if you could have any game series back, what would it be? Now they're just saying you can't say Titanfall. Like, that's how bad it's gotten now. Like, now apparently Titanfall 2 gamers are boomers now. Like, we're not allowed to.
Funny enough, the Gamers YouTube channel, they do a lot of like short documentaries. They just dropped a video about the rise and fall of Titanfall today. That's funny we're talking about that.
Wow.
It was pretty good. They make good videos. They make good content. But overall, I would say there were some solid announcements. If you actually play games, I think there's a little bit here for everybody.
Were you excited for Hades?
I never played the original one. Like, I don't really like them roguelike games.
You're not a real gamer. Hades 1 was literally one of the greatest. I'd argue it's.
I didn't say it was bad though. So how am I a
fraud? No, I'm not saying. I'm saying you're a fraud for not playing it. Only real gamers would play fantastic games.
Would you say that about the people that are upset that Elden Ring won Game of the Year over Ragnarok? Because most of those people, I guarantee you, did not play Elden Ring.
I have no comment on that.
I mean,
come on, die on that hill.
I could die on that hill. But, I feel like we'll get to that when we get to that. They definitely are drinking. They're probably a little.
Well, that's a perfect segue. Sad. That is a perfect segue. Let's go ahead and talk about the actual results from the actual Game Awards show. I'm not going to go over all this shit, just the stuff that matters. Best ongoing game, Final Fantasy 14. I know you like to play that monthly fee, Ethos. So I haven't
paid it in 6 months.
So that's another game you don't play. Thank you for confirming that.
Marvel. Are you waiting on something specifically?
I just there's just so many other games coming out that I just didn't have the time to dedicate to an MMO. You have to really dedicate time to it. Mm-hmm. I did it before because there was no games to play at that time, but now that there's other games, I'm like, all right, put this on pause, let them add new stuff to the game, then I'll go on and binge it. So that's usually what I do. It's usually my pattern.
All right. Marvel Snap won Best Mobile Game. I'm pretty sure y'all know Chaos was super excited about that. I was surprised by Splatoon 3 winning Best Multiplayer Game. I don't feel like I've really seen anybody talking about that game. Like y'all heavy on the Splatoon?
No, it's a very niche audience, so I don't know where that came from.
I heard it's massive in Japan. I heard Japan loves it.
Okay, I can kind of see that. I
get see that. That's what I've heard.
Japan's bringing PlayStations.
Yeah, out of all these, which is kind of weird. I would have given it to Turtles, to be honest with you.
No, I knew that wasn't going to win. It was good, but I knew
everybody said they loved it. I didn't think there was one person
what Turtles had. What Turtles had working against it is it was a very short game, and I don't know what it is about the gaming community. When a game is short, for some reason, people like to undervalue it. Yeah, for me, it's just what's the experience? It was a good multiplayer game,
and also a good thing. I mean, it's multiplayer, but it's co-op multiplayer. I think that a lot of people are looking for the PvP aspect of multiplayer, so I think that it automatically got.
Why wasn't this Why wasn't this a family game or something? Wouldn't this qualify as a family game?
Splatoon?
No,
it's too much squirting to be a family game. What did I do? I don't understand what I did.
Get this man out of here. But
where's the button? Boo!
If Overwatch didn't turn into Overwatch 2, I think that would have been probably the clear cut.
Man, fuck that game.
What are y'all saying?
Overwatch 2.
That goofy ass game.
Are you actually arguing it's Call of Duty? Call of Duty deserved it?
I would give it to Call of Duty. Yeah, I would give it to Call of Duty.
In this list, I'm
not mad at it. I would have gave it to Call of Duty.
That's fair.
This year's Call of Duty was good. I don't have no problem saying it. I'm at a point in my life where I'm at peace with Call of Duty. If it's good, I'll praise it. If it's bad, keep it moving. But I don't have any emotional stake in that game anymore.
According to all the other content creators, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is terrible. Just like every other Call of Duty every single year.
The Warzone is not that fun, but the multiplayer is pretty fun to me.
They be complaining.
Nah, the big stream. You know who I'm talking about. People they're already putting the doomer scenario about getting pissed at Warzone 2 and shit.
Yeah, whatever. They'll be on the game tomorrow when they boot up their little sad ass stream.
Pretty much.
Yep. Let's see. Best audio design, score, action adventure, narrative that all went to God of War Ragnarok. How y'all feel?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think God of War deserved the musical score.
Interesting. Well, would you would have given it to?
I think that was recency bias. I truly
prisoners of the moment.
I think it was just recency bias that it got that, and that they were just like, oh, just give it to God of War. Because like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, for the best score, I would have given it to Metal Hellsinger. Or shit, I would have given it to Xenoblade 3. I didn't play the game, but I listened to the soundtrack and it was phenomenal. Why wasn't Sonic nominated for this? Sonic deserved to at least be on this list, at least.
I heard that too. I heard both of those. Yeah. They were like, okay, best score music. You're literally not giving this to the game that focuses on music. The Metal Hellsinger game. Yeah.
Literally, the literal one that focuses on music. And you just give it to God of War just because. Why?
Prisoners of the moment. Bayonetta 3 got best action game. No surprise there.
I guess. What was the other options for that?
I can't pull up the thing from this.
I'm going through it right now. It was Call of Duty, Neon White, Sifu, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Sifu is a close second, but
I kind of wish Sifu would have got it, or Neon White, low-key, but I get it. I get it. Bayonetta 3 is a masterclass of action games, I guess.
What's the name? Games for Impact goes to As Dusk Falls. When that game won that award, which by the way, Games for Impact, I think what they mean is like games where like your decisions impact your choices. I mean, your choices impact the game, or whatever. Like I saw a lot of people in the chat like, oh, why this goofy ass game won? I'm like, that was actually a really good game.
The Games for Impact is basically okay, yeah. So it seems like it's for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message.
The point being, the point I was making is like, I really need people to stop commenting on games they ain't played. Don't talk about nothing if you ain't touched it. Don't comment on it. That's why I said stop talking about Plague's Tale Requiem. People like, oh, I'm 100% pushing the agenda, JG. Oh, you like Plague's Tale Requiem more than fucking God of War Ragnarok? Cap. Why would I cap about it, bro? I enjoyed the game. It is what it is. I still like God of War Ragnarok. I just like Requiem a little bit better.
You're not supposed to, bro. God of War is God of War. It has Kratos, it has Boy in there, and you're not supposed to like anything else, okay?
God of War
is a game that has rats in it.
God of War is this year's Uncharted. Motherfuckers who play Call of Duty, 2K, Madden, they play God of War. It's the greatest thing ever.
Let me honest with you.
Go ahead.
Low key, even from a narrative standpoint, I don't think. I should shut up.
I'm pushing the agenda, bro. If Elden Ring didn't come out this year, I would have said Requiem was game of the year, and I really need you two to play it.
Over Elden Ring?
No. If Elden Ring didn't come out this year, like Requiem came out at the wrong year, but it is an amazing game. That's why I'm gonna keep shouting about it.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. From a story standpoint, I don't know why, but like God of War Ragnarok just reminds me of like an MCU movie. Like that's it. I just don't. I don't think it's a bad narrative. I don't even think the story's bad. I wouldn't even ever go that far. I think the story's good, but to say it's like the best out of some of the stuff that you play this year, I have a strange feeling that I feel like Plague Tale has a better story. I don't know. I can't.
It is the ending was fucking fire, bro.
By the way you've been describing, and like I've watched a little bit. I already watched like a preview of the first one. I have a strong inkling that I feel like Plague Tale kind of got robbed there, low key. But I think that's just recency bias. I think a lot of these things that God of War got was just recency bias. Because it just came out recently. I have seen. What do you guys think about this take? So I have seen some people try to make a take about the Game of the Year award and a bunch of other awards that basically God of War was doomed to not get it just because. I've heard two takes. So I've heard either A, because people are trying to make the excuse that God of War didn't get it because it came out too late in the year. And
I've seen that argument. That's a
and I'm like,
argument.
I don't think that's a good argument, because I would argue that gives you more fire, because if your game's really good, it's going to be in people's minds and the freshest.
Yeah, we live in the digital age where everything's moving really quickly. What have you done for me lately? So it benefits from being fresh in people's minds.
Yeah, so I don't buy that. But then I hear the second one was that because it's a console exclusive, that because it's only on one platform. I think it's a little bit of people who are ignorant to like the judging process, because I think they believe that like, you know, if there's judges up there that just don't have a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 4, they just didn't play God of War Ragnarok, so they just didn't vote for it. But I think a lot of people don't understand that a lot of the people who are judges, they probably already own all the consoles, and they probably play a majority of the games that are on the list. So I don't know if I really like, or the people that are voting in those said categories have played a majority, if not all, those games that have been nominated, because they're the ones who nominate them in the first place to get into the top 5 list. So...
yeah. I don't like either of those. If I had to choose, I would go with the latter. Cause definitely not the former. I think that's completely.
But do you think that actually hurts? Because like that's why I just don't believe that. It's just like, do you actually believe that like because a game is a console exclusive because it's only available on one platform that hurts its chances of being game of the year?
Nah.
Do you think that? Okay. Okay, because
I think obviously like in the general aspect of things, like if you don't have a PS5 or even a PS4 and don't want to go down that path, that you wouldn't be able to play God of War until 1-2 years.
Yeah, like how many PS4s are out there? There's a lot. There's plenty of people that can play God of War.
Yeah, if you really want to, you can still play it.
Because I do see people trying to make the argument, and I don't know if it's like just people being bad actors or whatever it is, but I do see people trying to make the argument that like, well, the reason why Elden Ring had such a massive, everybody was, massive impact was because it wasn't multiplat and because you could play it on pretty much everything, and that's what contributed to it compared to God of War. Why God of War kind of was like it happened and it just disappeared. But I feel like God of War was hyped up like really a lot. It wasn't like as much as Elden Ring was or like Cyberpunk, but it was definitely like I'd say it was close to Cyberpunk's hype. Like people were like very looking forward to it for like multiple years. They got mad when they delayed it. So I mean, I don't think.
Ragnarok is probably my third favorite game of the year. I don't want anybody thinking that it's a bad game. I do still like the game, but it has some glaring issues. And in my opinion, the biggest problem with the game is it doesn't lean into its strengths. I don't feel like a god. It's Man of War puzzle rock. I'm just constantly I'm like, bro, at what point? I feel like they should have focused a little bit more on the combat. Like they're reusing animations. You're doing a lot of the same things you did in 2018. So like for me, it doesn't have the same impact that it had in 2018. So it doesn't lean into its strengths. I think that's its biggest problem. It tried to expand the scope a little bit too much. And I think if they would have trimmed down the fat, I think it would have been a little bit more concise. Versus Elden Ring, I think the reason why it had such a crazy impact, and because I'm like literally writing a script about this right now for people who don't understand. It harkens back to like the playground days. I think one of the things with video games nowadays is the internet ruins everything. Literally,
God of War Ragnarok.
Literally, the day God of War Ragnarok came out, a full playthrough was on the internet, spoilers in the thumbnail and stuff like that. Yeah. That did not happen with Elden Ring. It had this vast, expansive world full of lore and all different times you could. It reminded me a lot of Pokemon Red and Blue. You remember being on the playground? I remember kids coming up to me be like, yo, there's this like virus in the game called Masingo. That's the kind of vibe that I got. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got with Elden Ring, where it was like, yeah, certain things were uploaded, but it was so much content in the game. You had to talk to your friends, you had to watch YouTube videos, everybody's build was different. Imagine for the 2K niggas. Imagine playing a 2K where you go into the city and nobody's build is like yours. That's literally Elden Ring. Add an open, expansive world like Zelda, bunch of boss fights that really challenge you, a lot of unique gameplay mechanics. It just had so much going for it that is just not there in Ragnarok. And like the only thing that I can come up with of why like Ragnarok fanboys have a hard time wrapping their brain around this is they did not play the game. And I'm not saying every one of them, but like I really do feel like there's no way for me to prove this, but a lot of Ragnarok fanboys are the same as Uncharted fanboys. They play Call of Duty, Madden 2K. So when they play something like Ragnarok, it blows their mind, basically.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, I mean, we've talked about this a couple times over the couple of years of how it seems like there's been a shift. Obviously, the game has got more popular, and the reason it's got popular is because of like what those games that you listed, right? Like the big games that like people are like household names now, right? Like everybody in the household knows what Call of Duty is. Your 2K, Madden, FIFA. Like they play these games every year. They'll pick them up because that's just your dog good. Okay, I was making sure he was good. He a
little special. He playing with his bone. He a little special.
Okay. I was making sure he all right. But like what you said, right? Like then they transition over to like maybe another game because or like a PlayStation exclusive like Uncharted or something like that because it's on my PlayStation 5 or on my PlayStation 4, and that's kind of what the group is talking about right now. So I'll give it a shot, and they play it, and because the presentation is very like built up to this insane level, and to be fair, I feel like God of War suffers from a lot of hand holding. There's a lot of hand holding in God of War Ragnarok, from like puzzling and just like kind of very linear in its way. Dude, it's very easy for you to find just get into it and play.
You find a puzzle within 5 to 10 seconds, Atreus or whoever's there, hey, why don't you think about moving that lever? Like, god damn, can I play the game? That shit is irritating to me.
And it's drastically different from Elden Ring, where it was just like Do you remember when you remember when you first started the game and you left the graveyard and you opened a limb grave and you're just like, what the
do whatever you want.
You don't know what to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you're just it's like a complete like 180 from like what God of War does. Like if this was God of War, like it would have been like, you know, the first NPC right there would have got your attention. There would have been a cutscene for 5 minutes, and he would have told you go this way, and you would have just gone up the hill to where you're supposed to.
Right.
It's just being that type of game where, like what you said, TBH, just the mystery aspect. And some people in our Discord even said it was like, I'll be honest with you, they all said they were like, there's only one game where we actually made a text channel for it, and we were all constantly contributing to that channel, and it wasn't God of War. And I was like, yeah, that's true. It's just that level of communication and mystery.
It plays to your imagination. That's when I knew I really liked Elden Ring, because it's like, yeah, the boss fights were challenging, but it's like if you go back and watch a lot of my clips, there's moments where like I'm just like hiding in a bush, I'm getting in character, and I'm just playing around. Yeah, I'm like role playing in the game, just acting goofy. I'm like it made me feel like a kid again. It was a moment. And Ragnarok is just another solid PlayStation exclusive, but it's nothing mind-blowing about it in my opinion. And there's nothing wrong with that. And like that's
the worst part.
That's another conversation I feel like we need to have. It's gotten to the point where it's like, yo, God of War Ragnarok is my third favorite game of the year. What the fuck is wrong with people sending death threats and all this? I'm like, yo, it's gotten to the point where you can't even share your opinion, bro. At the end of the day, I can't stress enough. We're just talking about video games.
It's all.
I only poke fun because it makes y'all mad and I don't understand the shit.
It's just funny. I can't relate to why y'all get mad about it.
I mean, it really is just it's a whole syndrome with the Sony fanboys. Like they literally just cannot think outside of the box. Anything that you can play on something else, anything that's a multi-plat, is automatically going to get discredited in their opinion. Like they were waiting on God of War Ragnarok for 4 years. It finally came out. They weren't even sure if it was going to come out. We were talking about that literally all this year. They weren't even sure if it was going to come out this year, but they were already saying, if this game comes out, this is going to be the game of the year. We're going to have some of the best boss fights you've ever seen. It's going to be so innovative. Like they were just making up so many scenarios in their head, and they wanted it to be true. But as soon as someone pushes back on their opinion after actually playing the game, after actually seeing things in the game, then there's a problem. Then, oh, you're an idiot, you're a doofus, you didn't play the game, you didn't understand the game. Like it like all the name calling, the personal insults start to come out, and it's very weird. I don't get it, but you can like all of these games, but you can also have a favorite, and it doesn't have to be what you've been hyping up, what you've been propping up for 4 years. It's okay.
Ragnarok has some pacing issues. Like the opening like couple hours of the game was fucking fuego, and then after that, like there's just like moments where I'm just like, why am I I'm a fucking god. Why am I doing this, bruh? This motherfucker's doing all these goofy ass puzzles and shit like that. I'm just like, bro. And why I said I preferred Requiem over Ragnarok, I really need you two to play this. The puzzles in that game are contextual. They apply to everything that's going on and progressing the story. And then also they were very unique. A lot of the stuff in Ragnarok repeats itself. And that's why also it's very boring. It's like I fought the same boss like 4 times in a row. Doesn't even change the attack patterns. And I'm just like, where is the same thing I said the last podcast? Where's the energy for reusing animations? Y'all did that against Horizon Forbidden West, but not God of War. Just recognize your bias.
Both of them are Sony games. They're both Sony games,
and they're both Sony games that do that. Yeah,
recognize your bias.
But if anything else,
it became an issue. But yeah,
any other game done that?
Nobody else said it was the same chess puzzles from 2018.
It's literally the
same puzzles where you have to destroy the red things, throw them in succession in order to open up the webs or whatever. So like it literally is the same reused assets. And again, there's nothing wrong with it per se, but when it interferes with you progressing through the story and getting to the next part, that's when I really found it to be an issue. Because I'm like, again, why is this here? This doesn't need to be here in order for me to continue. But you just threw this here to make me stop for another 1 to 2 minutes just to complete it and move on. Or if I really, really want that chest to get that upgrade, then I have to do it, and I'm going to sit here for another 2 minutes just to complete it.
And to be fair, to the funny part too is Elden Ring has puzzles in it. That's the crazy part. It's like some people like actually go as far as to say like Elden Ring doesn't have any puzzles in it or something like that. But like it did have puzzles. Like there was I think you remember that whole thing was like there was like 4 or 5 towers and you had to do certain things. Or if you need to get into the academy, you had to figure out like that was a whole puzzle where you had to figure out like how to get access to that. And that was the thing. It was like what you said, TBH. It reminds me of what you're talking about like with Requiem. Reminds me so much about why I love Titanfall 2 was because Titanfall 2 was its campaign was short, but the thing about it was every single 30 minutes the game had you doing something different, and nothing felt like it was just you repeating the same thing over and over again. There was always a new puzzle,
every
a new
chapter
level
in Requiem
like
introduced a new gameplay
different.
mechanic. It was fire.
Good. Yeah, that's good. That showed me that like you're showing me just straight up quality, and you're not trying to pad the game. We're not trying. It respects your time. It's like, hey, this is it. Here's our cool little gimmicks that we're gonna show you for every 30 minutes. You're gonna see a new gimmick we're gonna throw in there, and then you combine them all together and show that you've mastered the game at the end. Cool. That's what makes a great campaign in my mind. But like with God of War, and I agree with you on that point, it's just like that stupid thing with you have to pull the wheel back. And then you got to throw your axe at the thing to freeze the gate. That was used so much. Using like that and just the what you said, JG, the fire stuff. It was just stuff where it was just like it was just thrown in there. And there was just certain parts of the game where like even it was like when you had to go back to the elves plane. And it's the same. It's literally the same level that was 2018. They just reversed it. So instead of you going, I think you went up the tower, right? You went up the tower when you were playing 2018. In this one, you go down the tower, and they just reverse the building because now it's different elves. I think it's cool thematically, but like it's like okay, you do this, and then you allow us to just like reflect stuff off of a piece of glass, which we've done in like multiple games before.
I'm telling you. I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but I'm saying do not be surprised like 5-10 years down the road when we look at things, because like a lot of times we're prisoners of the moment in this social media era.
Yeah,
when we look back 5-10 years from now, I don't be surprised if the narrative changes on Ragnarok. 2018 was really good. It was like refreshing.
I think we were gonna think 2018 was better. I really think
Ragnarok was cool, but it wasn't as good as like I thought maybe. Like because like listen, I loved Sonic Adventure 2 as a kid. I played that like 3 years ago recently. The shit sucks, bro. And I'm not saying I don't think God of War will be at that point. Never. I would never say it sucked. But I think people are going to look back retrospective and be like, it was all right. It wasn't as good as maybe I thought at the time. And when you talk
about moving the needle and you talk about game of the year, like really think about it in 5 years from now, when we think about like what games are going to be thought about and developed in the next 5-6 years. Yeah, 6 years. Well, not even that. I'm talking about like new releases. Like developers, like they look back at everything that's come out in the past 3 years, and then they start developing these brand new games for like what we'll play in like 5 years. Like, how many games do you think are going to be inspired by God of War Ragnarok? And then how many games do you think are really going to be inspired by Elden Ring? Like, imagine, like, think about how many open world games are going to literally try to copy From Software's formula. Like, wouldn't surprise me if Zelda, literally would not surprise me if Nintendo literally, because they delayed Zelda, they saw Elden Ring and they were just like, yo, we got to add stuff like that into our game. And it wouldn't surprise me if Zelda comes out and it feels just like Elden Ring.
Ain't going to happen on the Switch. They got to put out a Switch Pro.
Not going to happen on the Switch. But it's going to definitely be a mess performance-wise. But Elden Ring suffered that optimization too when it first came out.
They're going to get their Steam Deck mod, and there you go.
Yeah, I'm going to play that shit on Steam Deck, allegedly.
They out there fixing Pokemon because they can't fix their own games. It is what it is. Before we wrap up this Game Awards conversation, any favorite moments from the show?
Let's get into my favorite moment. The Sonic fans.
Oh,
I'm talking to you right now. Come on, you were on trial. We were talking about somebody else who's gonna put on trial soon. Sonic fans, you were on trial. Okay, I get it. The agenda was being pushed. You all voted for Sonic, you nominated it, but Jeff Keighley went on the stage and that man said, after all the votes were tallied and after we got rid of the bots, guess who won? Genshin Impact.
Hold on, can we dial it back and give context? Because not everybody's like really pays attention to like gaming news. So just give a little bit more context. There's a fan vote section in the Game Awards. And during the week leading up to the Game Awards, it was trending on Twitter all throughout the week. Hashtag Sonic Sweep, because the Sonic fans were going crazy, voting for Sonic Frontiers to be the fan favorite game. They were bragging they were going to win. Sonic Sweep, Sonic Sweep. And then Jeff Keighley gets on stage and is like, nah, y'all use bots. And then who won? Was it Genshin Impact, I think?
Yep, Genshin Impact.
Yeah. They said Genshin literally said, we'll be damned if Sonic wins. And they teamed up to knock Sonic out. That was...
Yeah.
That's crazy spite. That is crazy.
You guys are furry cheaters.
Why
And
was
going
that
back
even
to,
nominated? That
well,
game's come out.
it's fan nominated, so it's
But
just. I
shouldn't it
think
be
it's
from
just
games
whoever.
this year? Why is it a game that came out like 2-3 years ago? Why is it even?
I mean, it's still
possibly
relevant. They
nominated?
just dropped a big
yeah.
update. I don't know. Why is
I mean,
Final
it's
Fantasy
still
14 still on
ongoing.
the list? What are you
Yeah,
talking
it's
about,
still
man?
ongoing, so I guess.
But okay.
I'm just saying. I feel like
I don't like how you try to throw 14 in under the bus like that. But
whatever. Whatever. You don't even play that game. You don't play no games.
Whatever.
I just think it's hilarious. Like when I stream Sonic Frontiers, and I was like, it's all right. Like I'll beat it when I get to it. Like, but it's not that great. Sonic Frontiers is great. The Sonic community is really loving it. It seems like the Sonic community does love it, but nobody else is talking about it. And then on top of that, y'all don't even play the game. Y'all too busy botting the damn votes. And then on top of that, you didn't win. So it just reinforces the concept that Sonic fans are fucking losers. And to add insult to injury, let me go ahead and pull this article up. To add insult to injury, you know what else happened in the Sonic community? The co-creator of Sonic has been reportedly arrested for insider trading involving a Final Fantasy game, bro. This man was ready to run fast to the fucking stock market, baby. Apparently, he got some inside information about an upcoming Final Fantasy game. He said, "Ooh, that shit sound lit. Let me invest in that." And they said, whoa, put the cuffs on his ass, bro. So what's going on, man? What's going on with the Sonic community?
He needs to be shamed, honestly. That's that's called the white collar crimes, and yeah,
crazy.
you try to get you some money, brother. You do some things that people did it. You got the tip. You tried to
Hey, whoa.
to make some plays.
He got
the stock tip.
Okay.
About what was going on. He made a play and he got caught. He needs to get shamed for it, because we shame people for everything else, but why don't we shame people for white collar crimes too?
It's crazy. So Sonic community, y'all down bad, y'all in shambles, man. Hopefully y'all can get some DLC to ease the mind for Sonic Frontiers or something like that. But y'all didn't win.
They didn't even going back to what Ito said, like for the score and music, like Sonic didn't get nominated for anything. So
why would he?
The
music was good. The music was good.
But literally,
it was good. It was good.
But I can understand why the Sonic fans were like, look, we need to get something in here, right? Like we need to get something to tell
show
everybody
yeah.
we're here, we're here, baby. And they tried, and they were buying, bro. They were doing a little too much trying to win that award.
Whooped by the anime fans, bro.
Yo.
It is what it is, man. Maybe next year. I mean, Sonic came out November? That's like late in the year. Can he be nominated for next year?
No.
Yeah, God of War got nominated too. So
yeah, the game out literally a day before. Yeah, God of War. So no, it's
DOA. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part is once again we got Horizon Zero awards. Twice.
Unfortunately, it wasn't gonna win anything. The problem with Horizon,
could have got art direction. That's the crazy part. I would have given it art direction as a pity. I would have given it because it is a pretty game.
It's a pretty game, and it's actually a good game. If you can catch it on sale, it's just like it's a solid 8. It just didn't do anything to like reinvent the wheel. Like it literally felt like more of the first game.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I can't believe that. Like when I got shown, I really was like, whoa! I forgot this game came out. Like, it's kind of wild that it just became that like poof. Like,
well, you gotta keep in mind that it came out around the same time as Elden Ring. It got buried.
Yeah, but like I would have thought like maybe
to the point where
later, but
on some G4 insider shit, I remember around the time Horizon Forbidden West was coming out, they were handing out review codes like candy. And from my understanding, it was because they were worried about Elden Ring. Yeah. So they were giving everybody codes. And I mean, I remember thinking, I was like, nah, like I don't think it'll get buried. At the time, I didn't think Elden Ring would be that big. I thought it would be because at that time, Soulsborne games were still a niche. But I think Elden Ring kind of pumped them into the mainstream when it started going viral. So it is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
A couple other things I wanted to mention before we move on. Best adaptation. There you go. Arcane League of Legends won. I know that's your stuff, Ethos.
I wish Cyberpunk won, but I would have.
Oh, you had.
I kind of wanted Cyberpunk to win. I kind of.
Okay, so you like a little bit more over.
I got a question. The Mario movie comes out in April next year. If Mario doesn't win Best Adaptation next year, do you think that'll cause a problem?
Is there anything else coming out that's?
I don't know.
I know that Dragon Age
game thing.
Dragon Age is coming out, or it already did, I think, on Netflix. So Dragon Age has an anime. What else?
Nothing Yeah, I don't
We'll have
know.
to look.
Sonic
we'll have to
Prime.
look.
Sonic Prime's coming out, right?
Oh,
Sonic.
yeah, that Sonic one. Yeah.
Maybe you guys
Sonic
want to
was
work for
gonna-
that.
Oh, there's a next chance. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Sonic fan. That's your next chance to get something.
I mean, the movies is better than the games, so I mean, maybe the TV show will be too.
Yeah, true. That's true. And then content creator of the year. Yeah, I'll take a look at that list.
Who won that? I don't know.
They put Nibelian in there because I know that he's
Did he win?
off the internet now. No, Ludwig won.
Damn, that's crazy, bro.
But it's one person who he won the streaming, but he wasn't on this list, and that's Kai. I
That's
think that
that's
Kai should
kind
have
of.
at least been a nominee on the list. But
I don't even know who Carl Jacobs is. Who's Carl Jacobs?
yeah, I don't know who Carl Jacobs
I don't know who Carl Jacobs is.
Or
I don't know
Noboru.
who
I don't know
is.
who
Yeah,
Noboru is. I know
I've
Cutie Cinderella
seen.
is, and I
Yeah, I've
don't
seen
even
her
know
name, and
who
I've seen Ludwig. Yeah.
Yeah, so they own that again. But that's all
Oh,
I
he's
want
a
to mention.
Brazilian.
Politics
player.
as usual. Dun, 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 dun. I ain't watching none of that shit. So hold on, right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some actual games. Since the last podcast, we talked about the multiplayer on the last podcast. We was like, "Oh, Warzone's coming out." Warzone has dropped. Warzone 2.0 has dropped since the last podcast. I know we've all spent a little bit of time on the new Call of Duty BR mode. Warzone 2.0 features a new map. It's fucking huge, and all the guns from the multiplayer. And I mean, it's BR. In the Gulag now, it's now 2v2 instead of 1v1. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it's a new map. Yeah. So how you feel about the new map, Jay?
New map is all right. I think I like it a little bit better than the last one. I think my favorite part about Warzone though is definitely the proximity chat. The proximity chat is literally the only reason why I play the game now, because first of all, like, people are not muting their mics, and I still need confirmation on this. So all my console people, put it in the chat. If you play on console, is there a way to disable your mic from proximity chat, like if you're not in the party? Because I need to know, because you all literally snitching on yourselves because you're talking. I'm like, well, someone's near us, and then we just go and just get into a battle. It's actually pretty freaking hilarious doing that. But like, I think that definitely gets another aspect, like gets people actually fighting, because you hear somebody talking like, oh, somebody's near me, so I need to pull up on them or make sure that I don't get pulled up on and get shot at. So I think that that's literally one of the main aspects that I like about Warzone, because other than that, I didn't really like the first Warzone. I know that they ended up having a lot of hackers and stuff like that, so it just really wasn't a fun experience. But I think literally because of proximity chat, and a couple of small changes like the perks. You can only pick certain perk packages. You can't make your own perk packages. I do like the Gulag, how you don't even have to kill each other. The 2v2 aspect, you can just destroy the warden and then everybody gets freed. So like little things like that I do like, but the game is still unoptimized. I don't know what they're doing with Warzone. Those servers are still pretty trash, and whatever the latest update did, they broke it even more. Like, I have a 3090, right? And I'm lagging when I'm in the airplane. Like, what the hell is going on?
Ain't that your second 3090?
No, this one works though. This one is good. This one is good.
No, I just need you to confirm whether or not is that your first or your second 3090.
Don't let me get
second
that
one.
off.
The EVGA
That's
one was bad, bro. It was DOA.
No, I'm not even trying to make no jokes, because that's not cool. It's expensive, but at least you have like a fair excuse of why you don't beat your games, because you can't play them. So.
This freaking guy. Anywho, we're gonna ignore him, Ethos. Because we know the struggle. You and me, we know the struggle.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, don't you got a 3090 too, Ethos?
No, I don't.
That's crazy. You don't play no games either. That's crazy.
No, I don't. I do not have a 3090.
Now you need that 3090 to keep you warm out there in Michigan, fake ass Canada.
Shit, you're not wrong. It's cold as hell.
What's the name?
Overall, Warzone is cool though. It's cool.
Yeah, I don't like the new map. It's too big. I feel like we spend more time just running around. Like, the only reason I'm actually enjoying it to some degree is because of the proximity chat. And to answer your question, Jay, I don't know if the mic is always on, but like, for me, I know I talk on the mic a lot just to like troll, and maybe other people are doing that. Like, because like there's times where we were playing on stream and I'm like, I'll literally talk open on the mic. All right, team, let's go left. And then I get off the mic, I'll be like, all right, we going right. Just so you like can mess with them, bro. It's just like people could be messing with you like on some mind game shit, because you know that's what the whole community is. But the proximity chat is great. When that dude came down and said, fuck you, Siggy. Like, I felt that. I felt that, bro. I was like, man, he's really passionate. We got to take him out. I don't know if this has longevity. From what I've seen on Twitter, it seems like the community is kind of split down the middle. There seems to be a sentiment that some people really don't like it, and some people just kind of think it's all right, which I'm surprised, because I thought Warzone might be next for like BRs, especially because like Apex feels like I haven't even touched the new season. I have not even been on the new map. Seems like that's kind of dwindling a little bit. But I don't know. I maybe like in a couple months I'll have a more definitive answer. But right now, I don't know if this has longevity. What about you, Ethos?
Oh, well, I did a video for a website to do first impressions on it, but I kind of agree with what you're saying. I think, I don't know. I like that it's a little bit slower, a little bit more grounded. I feel like that's kind of been missing in a lot of our BRs lately. I think Apex has kind of taken the whole fast-paced thing, and that's kind of why I've gotten sick of Apex. I got tired of the whole 5 people jumping you simultaneously with all this crazy speed and momentum. So it's been nice to actually play a BR where I don't have 5 teams converging on me and trying to murder me when they hear gunshots. That's a nice little change of pace. I think I do agree with you about the longevity of, like, you know, how long would this really last for? Some people already don't like that they kind of nerfed a lot of the movement mechanics. I think the gulag changes are kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like I've kind of tired out on BRs. So.
Agreed.
Just like, okay, cool, something just to play with the boys every once in a while, but I'm not really.
Multiplayer feels refreshing and like to just hop on and play some games and get off. Like,
yeah,
BR is too much of a time investment. It feels like just to get clapped, shot in the back.
Are we like thinking now that the BR genre is like just dead at this point? Like, are we just kind of done with BRs? Are we ready to move on to
what's
next? The next trend is?
That's the question. What's next?
Mean, we have space, space combat, whatever space game. We still have survival games. Apparently, I mean, the Video Game Award showed us that a lot of games are going back to the medieval time. So I don't know what that's really about, but I don't know, like, as far as like the actual genre, but I think just the overall set pieces, we're doing medieval in space. That's kind of like the realms that we're stuck in, but I don't know what the next actual game genre is going to be.
I think quality single player experiences are coming back full circle, because remember, like, the last 5 years, like, executives are talking about, oh, single player games are dead because like esports is the future, and that's a whole different conversation in itself. Most of these esports teams is not making money, so I don't know about all that. So I think single player experiences and maybe even co-op might come back like full circle, because like I have seen a sentiment on Twitter, like prominent like content creators talking about like they feel like they don't have no games to play, and like I'm like, what are you talking about? I got too many games to play. And then I think I seen you tweet about it too, Ethos. Is like, yo, you guys gotta like open up your mind. I promise, if you just stop playing first person shooters, there are plenty of games. Like, there's a new Final Fantasy that just came out. Well, it's not new, it's a remake of Crisis Core on PSP. It looks fire. Callisto Protocol, all that's getting like mixed reviews. There's tons of games to play. Hit your backlog. Do you have any idea, any guesses where a potential trend could go, Ethos?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. Like, what's the next thing? I think we're gonna see maybe a lot of like Elden Ring inspired type games, I think, in the next 5 years. I think that's the only thing I can kind of predict right now. In the multiplayer space, what I'm thinking is, like, right now Valorant's kind of dominating that, I think, that kind of space right now from like an esports standpoint. So but the thing is, I don't think Valorant, like in CSGO type games, work that well from a console standpoint. So I don't think you're gonna, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. I just don't know. Maybe there's gonna be some new type of shooter type multiplayer experience that's gonna be created just like how BRs just came out of, came out after, people just started experimenting. So who knows, maybe someone will want something new.
Feels like gaming's in a limbo right now. We're waiting for that next. What's the next big trend?
What's the next thing? I'd say it's limbo from a multiplayer standpoint. It's like, a lot of people are just regurgitating a lot of multiplayer stuff that's like been popular, like multiplayer stuff. I think Overwatch 2 is a good example of that. Like, that came out, was just like, whatever. Like, people were just over it, like, the moment it came out. And that kind of shows, because I remember when that game first came out, that was the big thing. That was the big multiplayer thing. And now we're kind of seeing that thing where, like, we're in this little stage where everyone's just dropping sequels and just updated versions of their current games. So, who knows? I really feel like there's like maybe some shooter under development that I'm just not thinking of. That I'm thinking like
maybe that one shooter with the crazy destruction in it. What was that called?
Oh, that one that the Dice devs, the final, I think it was called.
Maybe big destruction is coming back.
Yeah, maybe destruction might be the key. Maybe the space thing that you're talking about, zero G, seems like some people are trying to experiment with that. But yeah, all I know is it's not gonna be arena shooters. Yeah, people I don't think are gonna make that.
I mean, there's one multiplayer game that came out. I mean, a lot of people are not gonna play it because it is very niche. But Ethos, you did get to play it. Talking a little bit about that good old Need for Speed Unbound. The soundtrack was produced by ASAP Rocky. It's got a lot of the little anime special effects and crazy customization. Not only your vehicle, but your character. It's open world. Can't get out the car, but driving around the city. It takes place in a certain section. I think Flock said Lakeshore in Chicago.
Yeah, it's Lakeshore.
It's not anywhere near O Block, but it looked nice. What's the name? You're really enjoying this game. I think you were really singing the praises. I think you were the reason I even got on it. You and Flock kept talking about it. What specifically do you like about it? Because I'm not gonna lie, I haven't played Need for Speed in a while.
Yeah, I'm not like a huge Need for Speed person. Like I played a couple of them. Like I played Rivals. I think that was the last Need for Speed I played was Rivals. I tried to play Heat, but I couldn't get into it. And when they tried to reboot it, I tried to play the reboot. Couldn't get into it. The last time I really synced a lot of time into it was Rivals, and then I played, of course, all the undergrounds and stuff like that back in the day. I think it's just the identity. I really think it's just the art style, the artistic, like how they artistically did this game. It has a lot of personality and has a lot of character. Then I think like the last couple games had, kind of gives it that unique identity marker. So also the soundtrack I think plays a big factor into that as well, and it just feels good. Like just from the car feel, the game feel of the game, it just feels really good. Like, I really get that Need for Speed when I play it. So I really just think it comes down to that. No, you had a terrible joke. I can have a terrible joke.
No, that was way worse. I just really get the Need for Speed when I play this, baby.
Yours was worse. Yours was worse. Yours was by far worse. But no, I just think it's a very well made game that I was surprised by it because I didn't have any expectation for it. So I just went into it and was like, oh, wow, this is actually really good. And I've been enjoying it. I haven't had time to play the online, though, unfortunately. I've just been playing the story mode. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, soundtrack's fire. I think it's just like a vibe if, you had a long day at work and you want to hop around and do some donuts. And the whip and the customization is crazy. I agree. Like the art style is fire. I don't know how long I'll play this. But it's definitely something if like you're into racing games. I was surprised. I thought Need for Speed was more arcadey, but it's kind of somewhere in the middle between like arcade and sim. It takes a little bit of skill to play this. That's how long it's been since I played Need for Speed. Because I was like, I thought this was like super arcadey, but don't come into this thinking that you're gonna have to hit the brake a little bit and drift a little bit. But it's all right.
You gotta learn to drift. Yeah.
It's isn't it on it's free, right? On Game Pass, I think, for like the first 10 hours.
Yeah, I think Flock said if you have the Game Pass, you get 10-hour trial, so you can try it out for yourself. And if you have, of course, that EA Play Pass, basically their EA Play or Game Pass, you basically get it for free. If you have the like $15 one.
There you have it, folks. Check it out if you want to. Need for Speed Unbound. It's out right now. Another game that's out right now. I know me and Jay have both played this. It is called Evil West. This is a new third-person action game. Not really adventure, just straight up action. You play a cowboy who kills vampires, and you gotta do all these crazy combos, and you get guns, and you get to juggle the enemy. I've got maybe like 4 hours on this game, and I gotta say, I enjoyed it. It kind of reminds me of like those, and I've been saying this, like we need more like B tier games. It reminds me of like a lot of those little quirky, goofy B tier games that would come out on the Xbox 360, where it wasn't like some shovelware trash, but it wasn't like a AAA game. But if you're looking for just a fun third-person action game where you get to pull off combos, it feels almost like a mix between like Gears of War and like Devil May Cry, because like the weight of the character, and it has co-op, by the way, too. This game might be for you, especially if you can catch it on sale. Like I feel like this is a game that's going to go under a lot of people's radar, and next thing you know, it's going to be on Steam sale for the low. How'd you feel about Evil West when you got a chance to play with it, Jay?
Yeah, I thought the gameplay was dope, especially as you start leveling up, getting more guns. Like you even have like a special move where like you supercharge your arm, and like you kind of turn into Sonic a little bit. Like it's kind of remind me of like you just going through like just like slipping through like being like a lightning king or something. So it was dope. I definitely enjoyed the gameplay. I thought that at certain points it kind of got a little bit cheesy, and you were kind of doing this the same things over and over. But I think that the game is kind of like forcing you as you end up buying more moves. 'Cause I didn't even know that it was gonna have like a skill tree and things that you can buy and whatnot. Upgrading your guns, upgrading your character and stuff. So once you like get more moves, like it's like incentivizing you to do more moves and do different moves and chain combos and stuff. Like you have a system kind of like, Devil May Cry or whatever, that, it kind of judges like, what you're doing and, grades you as, as your performance and whatnot. The story though, like if you're into story games, just forget it. Like it's not anything that you're going to be like,
Very cheesy.
This is freaking amazing. Yeah, it's cheesy as hell. Like they call the vampires ticks. Like like.
But my thing is like, I'm pretty sure they're making it cheesy on purpose. Like, so if you like that stuff, like I think it's supposed to be campy.
Like, bro, you're working for, you have Abraham Lincoln. Like they made a reference to the Abraham Lincoln. Do you remember Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Slayer? Like,
yes.
It was kind of like that. Like it's just cheesy as hell. Like Abe Lincoln killing zombies. Like it's I mean, vampires. It's ridiculous. But it's stuff like that. Like, so don't take it serious. Don't go into the game thinking that the story is gonna drive you. It's gonna be game of the year or anything like that. But I just think if you just want like a straight just action type of game where you shoot and punch a bunch of vampires and you
cool
meet
abilities.
Different enemies and try to figure out the best ways to kill them. Like I think it's a good time, and it's short. Like you say, like it was only around like 8 hours.
Yeah, it's short and it's linear too. So like you're not gonna. There's a little bit of exploration because you're gonna. Oh, there's like environmental damage. That's cool. Y'all can't see the footage on the record. You'll see it later. Anyways, there's environmental damage, and then I lost my fucking train of thought. What was I saying before? I said the damn footage distracted me. I wish I could have saw that. Whatever. The game's cool. Short. It's linear. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's linear, so you're not gonna get lost. There's a little bit of exploration, like there'll be like little corners and crevices where if you make the right turn, if you're paying attention, you'll find like little collectibles or like upgrades. Yeah, but it's nothing. I never caught myself getting lost in this game. Basically, it's pretty straightforward going down the corridor. And if you want a game like that, because you work a 9 to 5, where you just want to come home and have some fun and not have to be super invested, like an hour-long, 45-minute-long BR match in Warzone or something like that, this might be the game for you, especially because I'm pretty sure this game is going to be on sale soon because most people don't even know it exists. But it doesn't mean it's a bad game.
It's already $50, so it's not even a full $60 or $70 retail. It's only $50.
There you go. So that is Evil West. If you guys want to check it out, it's out now pretty much on every major platform. One game that's only available on one platform, The Phoenix Rises, ladies and gentlemen. It's called Predecessor. This is a remake of Paragon. Fun fact, when Paragon servers collapsed, the developers Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite, they released all the assets to Paragon to the wild, so anybody can use them, including you. And some fans of the game got together and formed their own studio called Ometa Studios, and they started working on putting together their own creation, their own version of Paragon, because they wanted to see it live on. And now it's finally entered early access. It's available on Steam right now. They have plans to come to console eventually. There's actually controller support in this early access version on PC. But it's just not available right now on console. There will be cross-play. Some changes because it's not exactly like Paragon. So some changes. The card system is gone. They now use a traditional item shop. So if you fuck up your build, that's your fault. Also, everybody spawns with an Omni Potion, which heals your mana and your health, as well as wards and a blink. So if you get caught lacking by a ganker, that's your fault because it gives you wards. And then also you have the option to teleport. You can use it on offense or defense. It launched with 20 characters. They said during early access, they will have 5 more characters coming down the pipeline. They also have an original character named Huntress that they've already shown off. And they're also going to slowly continue to drip out more characters and more original content. I got some hands-on time with it. I played with Jay. He got some hands-on time. Did you get to play Ethos?
No, I did not.
Ethos did not. He does not play any games.
I did not play any.
Jay, what are your thoughts on Predecessor? Do you think there's a chance for the Paragon community to come back? Do you think there's a chance that people can regularly see us push mid on Twitch?
Maybe. I think that the GI crew has been looking forward to another another MOBA game. We kind of just moved on from that once Paragon died, and we were looking for something else. We were literally waiting to see like which Paragon remake was going to make it, through the thick of things, because it was like at one point like 6 different Paragon games being made, and it looks like right now we're kind of at 2, and Predecessor seems to be the one that's that's gone the furthest right now and is gaining the most traction. Seeing as was the old Paragon people that were part of the community, had hands-on time with this one. I think that the biggest thing, because I do like all the different aspects, like it looks and feels like Paragon. One of the main criticisms with the game when it first came out before it died was the card system was pretty bad, and a lot of people just wanted a traditional shop like the other MOBAs that are out, your Smites and your League of Legends. So they done that. Obviously it's going to take a lot to figure out because there are a ton of items in the game, so it's going to take some people to continue playing with the game to figure out like what's the best build for whatever character or whatnot. So it's going to be a learning process, but that also leads into why I think that the general public might not like this game. And I'm not talking about the people who have been playing, because that kind of is the issue for somebody who's new, who's trying to get into this, who never played Paragon before, only played it a couple of times and wants to get into it. I feel like that's probably one of the biggest problems is the barrier of entry right now, because a lot of people who have been playing, they're 5-stacking right now. They're all in Discords. They've been keeping up with the game. They've been keeping up with all these games. They've been playing them a lot. Like, it seemed like at some point this has been the only type of game that they've been playing. They've been playing all the alpha. They've been playing all the closed betas. So they already know what's going on. They already know all the aspect. Yeah, yeah, exactly. All the neckbeards. So you're coming in there like and say you're a brand new person, you never played a mobile before, or you never played Paragon, and you get in a predecessor, you're gonna get murked, and it's just not gonna be a fun experience. So I'm not gonna tell the people who have been playing a lot of the tryhards to ease up, but I think that's going to deter a lot of people, because like I feel like I'm a noob again, trying to get back into it, trying to figure out what all these items do, what are the best items to get for whatever character that I'm getting. I feel like I'm a noob. I'm sort of relearning it, and I'm just getting murked because it's a 5-stack in here death balling me. So I think that that's going to turn a lot of people off.
It's crazy how they don't understand that's actually a detriment to the community too, because like I can't stress enough, if you've never played Paragon before and you want to give this a shot, there are a lot of new players in this game, and from my experience, the few hours that I have on it, there's no in between. You're either going to be in a lobby full of like new players and like you can have some fun and experiment, or you're going to be in a lobby full of fucking hardcore sweats. And it's like when they do that 5-stack stuff, it's like, yo, we're trying to grow the community. You're gonna run these people off of the server. Like, do you guys gotta play a 5 pro stack every time? You can't do maybe 2, like 3 or whatever, like break the friend group up or whatever. I would hope that giving feedback and hoping that growing the community would be the priority. Otherwise, this game is it's gonna be DOA, and it doesn't help that there's actually another Paragon remake out right now called Overprime. It's called Paragon the Overprime. Oh my god. So it's actually free to play. Although on Steam it has mixed reviews. People seem like they're really fucking with this one more, Predecessor, but the community is already split. It's already small. It's split. When I was streaming this game, people were coming in and like, oh, you should play Overprime. Or I'm like, bro, I just want to play Predecessor. Like, motherfuckers is already beefing. Like, it's like East Coast versus West Coast and shit like that. And I'm just like, bro, the community needs to get together and pick a game, and like, this is what we're supporting.
Stick with it.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I think Predecessor is a better overall MOBA and like strategy game. Overprime is a little bit too fast paced. And I like what they're doing with Predecessor, but I'm not gonna lie, you guys are fighting an uphill battle.
Was Overprime the Korean one?
Yeah, that's the one we actually played. Yeah, remember it was kind of janky with the animations and shit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Predecessor and Overprime, they're both facing uphill battles, and the reason being is like Paragon died during an era when MOBAs were at. Remember, we were just talking about trends. Like that was the trend at the time. That was the trend. MOBAs were the trend before BR. MOBAs are not hot. You got like League and Dota. They've managed, carve out their niche and remain relevant. But like all those other, you guys remember Strife? What was the
Dawn Gate.
What was the DC? What was the DC Comics one that we used to play?
Infinite Crisis.
Yeah, Infinite Crisis. There were so many MOBAs that have collapsed. It's not the hot thing anymore. So it was easy to attract new players. I'm really curious to see, will they be able to attract new people now that MOBAs are not hot? Like, they got to work on the marketing strategy. But I think their heart's in the right place. I think at the core, the game runs. I didn't have any optimization issues. It runs really well. It feels good. It feels like Paragon, but they made just enough changes to where it's its own thing and it feels balanced. But they're going to have to start pushing out new content and really differentiating themselves to stand out, because at the end of the day, Paragon did fail. You can't remake the game. You got to make it better. That's all I got. It's on Steam. if you want to check it out. Do you have any plans to even touch any of these ethos, or you just kind of done with Paragon?
I think that ship has sailed. I think I'm done with it. When one finally comes out, let's say the popularity does turn up, and let's say people are like playing it pretty like on pace of where Paragon was, then maybe I'll just come back. But I don't think. So kind of what you say. I kind of feel like I've outgrown it a little bit. So it is what it is.
I have seen people that were, getting interested in it again because like I streamed it like a couple times, and it was a good amount of people in the chat like, hey, what's this? What's going on? Paragon's back. What I'm saying? Paragon's back. Like you're playing this again, but and people were definitely interested to see like what changes were there. But then they see me getting freaking murked by a 5-stack, and I'm in here solo, and I'm like, well, damn, like this isn't really fun. Like I'm trying to relearn the game, and like I'm just getting dunked on constantly. So I'll see. I don't know like how long this will last. I guess like it may just depend on how long that we overall play it. If we're just hopping on, but those games are still, they don't take as long, I feel like, compared to when Paragon was actually out, but they still take minimum 20-30 minutes, and sometimes you just don't have the time for that anymore, especially now with me.
Week 1, it wasn't hard to find a match. I was surprised by that. So like there is some traction there. I'm curious to see like in a month will it still be easy to find a game. So only time will tell. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Let's talk about a game that has multiplayer that people are really rocking with. I know JG loved this one. Gotham Knights. It recently got an update. They added some 4-player co-op. Now previously they said 4-player co-op was not possible, but they just came out with an update and they added 2 brand new modes. The first one is called Heroic Assault, 4-player co-op. Basically it's horde mode. There's 30 floors. Each one gets harder. More enemies, different objectives. Sometimes the objective is just defend yourself, take out the enemies. Sometimes the objective is defend the computer. Sometimes the objective is defend a moving laser. And you can play 4-player co-op. You can play the same character. Everybody can be Red Hood. It doesn't have to be the 4 different characters. There's online matchmaking. And then there's another mode. It's called Showdown, which is basically New Game Plus for the boss fights. So they're harder to beat. So basically you have to grind gear in Heroic Assault, so then you can fight the characters in Heroic Shutdown. I know you spent a lot of time with this, JG. You were a big fan of the Gotham Knights Heroic Assault. How did you feel about this new mode?
A lot of time equals an hour at max.
I'm glad you admit you don't play games. Go ahead.
Bro, you ain't playing either.
I did. I actually got to the 10th floor. I put a couple hours in.
Oh, I'm sorry for you.
I did a video on it. youtube.com/theblackokage.
I feel sorry for you for taking the time. I know you did it for content. I get it. I know you did it for content. But when we played, it was not anything special. They could have honestly just not have put this 4-player co-op in there. I think one of the main things, which again, they put a barrier there because we were trying to get Chaos to play it, and you have to get to at least case 5 in the main story in order to even unlock it, and that's basically almost beating the damn game. So with that being said, just for all the people who are like, oh, I want to do the 4-player co-op, you got to at least play the game and progress through the story far enough in order to even unlock it.
To play horde mode? Ooh.
Yes, in order to play horde mode.
Get the fuck up. That's innovation in the Xbox 360 era.
You remember this thing called Gears of War? Remember when they did horde mode? You just hit it on the menu, you just play it.
Exactly. That's how it should have been, right? And like it's there, like when you load up the game, like you see Heroic Assault, but like even for me and TBAs, because we didn't understand, I had to go into my story, and then there was an objective for Heroic Assault, and all it requires you to do is go to where the place is, the layer is, in order to unlock it. I'm like, why can't I just click on it and then you take me there, right? Like, why do I have to do this extra step just to get there so I can unlock it? So I don't understand.
To be fair, you only got to do that once. After that, you can go from
you only have to do it once, but the fact that you have to do it is bull. I don't like it. Like I don't get why you have to do that. But no, when I was playing it, I was like, okay, like it's all right to play with 3 other people and do these objectives, but they just repeat over and over and over, and it's really just to get better gear, to be honest, just to get the materials and ultimately get better gear, so you can do the better boss fights in the second mode. So it's still really not much of a point. I didn't really find it to be fun or enjoyable. I actually enjoyed the regular story over this. So, we were excited, but I think that it fell flat on its face with this horde mode.
At least it's free. Yeah, it's. I think this addition to this update only reinforces the rumors that this game was supposed to be a live service game. Because like, why drop this mode after you complete the story and you're like grinding for loot so that you can fight the same bosses over? It just all seems kind of pointless. Like as if there were supposed to be some proper in-game content, but because they pulled the plug on it, the world may never know. But hey, it's a free update if you want to try it. Gotham Knights. If not, we're not mad at you. That's all we got for the game stuff. We're going to move into the news section of the podcast. I actually wanted to open up with an important story. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it, but I want to make people aware of it. So for those of you unaware, you guys are familiar with Black Friday, right? You guys are black men, right?
Wow, another terrible joke. What you trying to say there, brother? You're 2-2. Congratulations.
It wasn't a joke. You're black, right? Wow. You think your
skin color is a Black joke? Friday.
You think your skin color is a joke? I'm calling Dr. Umar.
I think it's a joke when you use my skin color to determine that I like Black Friday. Yes, absolutely.
Anyways, GameStop, they conducted their Black Friday sales, and apparently, just so you guys are aware of this, if you stored your credit card information on the website during that sale, they had a data breach. And anybody who, saved their credit card information on the website, your info might be out there. So I just wanted to make people aware. If you did that, you might want to call the bank if you was really trying to get that PS5, because your shit might be out there and you might need to have a new card shipped to you. I think the fascinating thing about this story for me is I was like, people saved their credit card information on a game. Like, of all the websites, you would save it on that one? That's crazy. I don't save my card on. Do y'all save your cards on any sites?
I use Privacy.
What's that?
It is a amazing application where you can put your debit and credit card onto it, and it generates fake debit and credit card numbers that redirects to your bank account or something like that. So you don't have to use your
actual burner card. Ooh.
It's a burner card. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember if I pay for this. I think there's a free version of it, but there's a paid version if you want more cards. But I think there is a free version of it. I would really recommend it, especially if you're buying stuff on multiple sites. You can set those fake proxies to have a limited amount of money that can be spent with that card per month or just one time. So if someone does get a hold of those cards, they don't actually have your real credit card information. So you can just cut the card off and then you're good. Okay. That's your cybersecurity trick of the day. You're welcome. I charge people this $1,000 an hour.
I use 2FA for all my debit cards and credit cards that I enter in. So I'm asked every single time to confirm my identity before anything gets published.
I'm old school. I just slide the credit card down her ass crack like Nelly. Let's see. Moving on.
I could have said something terrible. I said something really bad.
I needed it.
Yeah. How many else y'all gonna take, bro? What the hell?
Yeah,
they not done.
They be ready to go out of business. Now y'all really about to go out of business because everybody taking their credit card information off the website. This is an interesting rumor. So Sony is claiming that Microsoft's true strategy to make PlayStation like Nintendo. Now, what does that mean? They said the real idea behind why Xbox is trying to acquire Activision, which is in limbo, by the way, that's another discussion. It hasn't been guaranteed. They said that they're trying to make the Xbox the home of first-person shooters, forcing Sony basically to become the home of, I guess, single player narrative-driven games or something like that. Because Nintendo's known for Zelda, Mario. Not really Star Fox, not F-Zero, not Homebound. What games?
Not 007.
Yeah, not 007. Wow, they got a lot of really good games they don't tap into, but you get the point. They're trying to box Sony into being known basically for God of War and Horizon, which I can argue.
They like the totem so much. So let them,
bro. Do y'all feel like there's any merit to the strategy? Do you think that's Microsoft's dubious plan on the low to basically shove Sony into one box of known for single player narrative games where they have lots of parkour moments where it feels like you might fall, but you don't because it's all on rails?
That was an Atreus stab. That was definitely an Atreus stab.
Well, Uncharted. We'll pick one. Uncharted.
That's crazy.
God of War.
You could say 3 different games.
It's literally every Sony game. As a super platforming fan, I fucking hate scripted platforming, bro. Just make it a cutscene. Go, my bad. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh my God, this rock just all of a sudden.
You be climbing and be like, whoa, like, no, you weren't gonna fall. Like,
exactly. Sony needs to shut up. Like, I've never seen Sony so butthurt about this potential Activision deal. Like, I feel like every single podcast that we've been talking about ever since this deal even got approved, and it's not even fully approved yet. It still hadn't even gone through. But ever since this happened, like, Sony has just been crying and crying and crying about potentially losing Call of Duty. Sony, if you want to be known as an FPS studio and make FPS games that are actually good, who remembers the last FPS game that was a Sony exclusive that we played and enjoyed? I mean, I can't remember the last one that actually was a hit. What did they come out with?
Mag?
Mag was exclusive.
Mag was exclusive Sony, but it was busted. It was broken for like the first 2 months it came out. That's kind of why it flopped.
Yeah,
people say it was good. Killzone.
When Killzone came and went, like, people were playing it for a little bit, but it died too. So I mean, I think everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and Sony, your strength has been the single player narrative type of games. I mean, you can pretty much do like Xbox did, but Microsoft just has the money to throw around. That's how they were able to get these studios. They were like, forget it. If we can't find any studios in-house to make these games, then F it. We're just going to buy the studios that makes these games that we really want, and then they're going to be under our umbrella. I mean, you tried, Sony, the couple studios, but you haven't gotten anything near what Xbox has. But I don't know what else to tell you. Like, if you can't flaunt your money around because you don't have any, then I don't know. You're gonna have to try to either take the L and don't have any FPS games there and be known as a single player, single player platformer, narrative type of studio, type of platform, or you're just going to have to find some way to get an FPS game that people will enjoy, because I don't know what else to say. Like, but losing Call of Duty should not be like the main focus that you're on. I don't think that Microsoft has some grand objective to make you not the platform that people play FPSs on. I think that that's dumb. I think that honestly they're just super upset that they might potentially be losing Call of Duty, because at the end of the day, the exclusive, probably put a lot of money in their pockets, and it made a lot of people want to consider getting the Sony platform just for that exclusive window every time a Call of Duty game came out, and that's really it.
Well, yeah, I think that's what's interesting about that is them blocking it. Well, potentially the FTC might block this deal from going through. For like those not aware, now the story is coming out that Microsoft might not even get Activision. There are claims going around, Sony saying basically that it's anti-competition, basically arguing that they'd have a monopoly if Microsoft acquired Activision, which is, by the way, I find that the most interesting thing about this story is it's like, you're considered to be a monopoly if you hold Call of Duty, because at this point, I mean, Blizzard's Diablo 4 hasn't came out, so we don't know what that's gonna do. Overwatch 2 is that game dead yet? What y'all think, man? That game dead? What y'all think?
Nah, I think people still playing it.
Still playing it? Okay. We don't know about that one. It's a little skeptical. Like Activision, the point I'm trying to make is Activision really ain't that hot right now, especially at the Diablo Immortals. And then Overwatch 2 being a little bit shaky. So to say that like, yo, Monopoly, we need to stop this shit, that's a wild claim, because other than that, what does Activision have? Guitar Hero? Yeah, I think this deal will actually, do you think this deal will be blocked, Ethos?
No. I think what is the name of the Federal Trade Commission? I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot the moment they try to argue and say, oh, we're suing them because for Europe, they got scammed out of what Microsoft promised when they acquired Bethesda and ZeniMax, that they would not make those games exclusive, and then literally Europe was like, no, we did it. So now like the Federal Trade Commission is like, oops. Now they're looking like idiots. So they sued them off of a premise that wasn't even factual. So now it's just going to be funny them going to court and just trying to make some other excuses up about why they think it just go through. But I think ultimately Microsoft, just like they did with I forgot what the other Europe, they'll make a concession. They'll say, okay, if we do this, will this make you guys feel okay about it? And then they'll probably say, yeah, and then it'll be fine. I don't think this like off-roads the acquisition at all. I think it just delays it a little bit, but I think they're gonna get it probably by sometime next year.
I think the reason that this deal will eventually go through is because news just came out. Microsoft signed a deal with Nintendo. And they're guaranteeing that Call of Duty will be coming to the Nintendo Switch for 10 years, the next 10 years. So
did you see the Valve thing too?
Oh no, what's the Valve thing? I missed that one.
They were offering Valve the same thing they were offering PlayStation. They were like, hey, we'll make sure that Call of Duty remains on Steam for you guys and not put on Battle.net or something like that. We'll let you guys make sure you guys can still do it. And Valve was like, nah, you don't have to sign it. We've had a relationship with you guys for a decade, and we know that like you guys stand by your word. You guys have never like hoed us basically. So we just trust it. And they wrote like Gabe wrote this out like and publicly submitted as like a public.
So we've got a handshake from Valve. And then,
they've already Nintendo.
And then we've already inked up a deal with Nintendo. So that alone demolishes the argument that Sony's trying to make that it's anti-competition and monopoly. They said, no, like Call of Duty is going to be there. Like I would imagine that Microsoft purchased Activision because maybe they know something that we don't. Maybe they're working on some secret new IP and maybe they want that to be exclusive to like the Game Pass. But like, I don't think their long play is Call of Duty exclusive, especially because Call of Duty is one of the biggest games in the world. I would want that game. I would want that game to be multiplayer. Make it as much money as possible. It's the quintessential casual game, basically.
When they grabbed Minecraft, they didn't just lock it down to like Windows computers exclusively, stuff like that. No, they just made it bigger and they expanded it, made sure it could be played on like so many different things. Like that was what their plan was. And they're doing the same with Call of Duty. Like the Switch thing is a perfect example. The Switch is a weaker system, but they'll figure a way, whether it's like that version or like a smaller version, they'll figure out a way to get Warzone, whether it's like cloud, like a cloud version or something. They're gonna find a way to get Call of Duty on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that article just confirmed Switch Pro is coming to me because I'm like, ain't no way these new Call of Duties, ain't no way these new Call of Duties is running on Switch, bro. They got to come out with a Switch Pro. What's going on?
Yeah, something will happen there. I mean, like they were able to get The Witcher to work on Switch, barely, but it worked. So I mean, who knows? You know, maybe they'll do some more sorcery and magic. But I think. Like what you said, everything makes sense. I think Sony, every single time one of these things come out where another partner is like, hey, yeah, we agree, or they get another deal with another partner, Sony has like, honestly, like they're just going to look really terrible by the end of this. Like, do you remember back when Microsoft got under fire for used games and they were like for the gamers and we're for the gamers and stuff like that? I feel like we've like almost like full circled at this point. Where now like Sony is just like a crying kid who just like holding on to dear life for this like, you know, ball that doesn't want to give it away.
Sony feels right now like when Frieza
they sound entitled.
When Frieza realized he couldn't beat Goku and Vegeta anymore,
so I'll blow up the planet.
He went to Broly. Like, have you seen that meme clip? He's like, Broly, niggas is wildin'.
Well, he shot his dad.
This is funny. So I think here's the funny thing about this story. The funniest thing about this whole FTC, Microsoft, Sony debacle and Call of Duty is the beloved Battlefield somehow caught astray in all of this. So one of the counter arguments people have had is like, well, what's the big deal if Call of Duty does become exclusive to the Xbox and the Nintendo? You guys still got Battlefield. You can have a shooter on your console. And Sony was like, well, they're irrelevant. Well, let me give you the quote. Call of Duty is not replicable. They said that you can't replicate Call of Duty, which is code for Battlefield is irrelevant. They said, who gives a fuck about that being on the platform? We want Call of Duty. So how do you guys feel about Battlefield catching a stray in all of this? Do you guys feel like Battlefield's irrelevant?
I know, because there's been those rumors that EA was trying to get itself sold to somebody. They were trying to make somebody buy them. I know that the shareholders were like, shit. like now that's going to be used. Like if someone was buying them, it's like with this, like, you know, because, you know, they'll hype it up. Battlefield is on par with Call of Duty. It's the #1 competitor to Call of Duty. And now they're like, I don't know, man. I read this one thing over here where they said that it could never be replicated. Like, well, there goes our value. So that, you know, that's a pretty funny joke about it all.
Didn't you say you getting back on Battlefield 2022?
Yeah, it's actually really good right now. It's really good.
That's
8 out of 10 right now. I give it.
Would you say it's a 4? Would you say it's a 4 out of 5?
I give it an 8 out of 10 right now. I'd say it's an 80 right now. I give it an 8.
Okay.
The latest content's been pretty good. They've been doing a good job with it.
Fair enough. Any take on Battlefield being irrelevant, Jay?
I mean, it's pretty messed up, but I mean, numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. It hasn't been, but I know that there was definitely a period where I was enjoying Battlefield a lot more than Call of Duty because I felt like Call of Duty was not doing anything special or innovative. and now I feel like they finally kind of come back around and went back to, you know, kind of like the nostalgic, pure type of multiplayer that I enjoyed back then during the original Modern Warfare and Black Ops phases. So that's why I'm kind of, you know, enjoying this latest one. And Battlefield 2042, I don't know, I just couldn't mesh with it. And then the previous one, Battlefield 5, I was just like it, I don't know, it just kind of fell off a little bit for me. You know, there were moments, but it's just like when the games first come out, I'm just like, what are you all doing? Like, Battlefield has aspects that Call of Duty does not, but I think that they were again trying to keep up with the Joneses. And oh, you're going to World War II, so I'm going to go to World War II. Oh, you went back to the future, well, I'm going to go back to the future. Like, I feel like Battlefield just needs to be its own thing and just do its own thing, and I think it can get back on track and make sure that the game is optimized and has enough content in the beginning in order to, you know, actually keep the people in. So I mean, it sucks that they caught the stray on this one, but again, numbers don't lie. It is, you know, playing catch up.
I wouldn't call Battlefield like irrelevant, but it's definitely in a rough patch, which is funny because I feel like these two constantly go at each other. Like, there's a moment where Battlefield's on top, and then Call of Duty. Yeah, I think it's just Call of Duty's time right now. Battlefield can come back. They're always one good game away. It's just they had a rough launch with that 2042.
BF3, BF4 era was a peak era. So
I mean, didn't the community love Battlefield 1 too?
I will not understand that, but yes, they loved it.
I didn't say we. I said the community.
Yeah, community likes it. It was
the horses.
On the opposite side of that. I'm indifferent to Battlefield 1. I just don't like the gun in the air. Yeah,
I feel that. Some articles leaked online from Take-Two Interactive. Supposedly, these are some insider documents.
I got hacked again.
Yeah,
here we go again. Yeah,
here we go. So one of the big takeaways from the Take-Two Interactive documents that leaked is the highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto 6 is expected to release in 2024. Do we believe that?
I mean, they got another year after
possible.
This, so yeah, I mean, it could be late 2024. Yeah, it's possible.
I could see it.
Do you think there'll be enough PS5s available if it does come out in 2024?
Yeah, by that point there should be.
Hopefully.
Unless we get hit with this U.S. recession. No, but yeah.
It's inevitable.
I found it funny that the article that you have was from No Jumper.
I know it was
amazing.
We gotta take it with a grain of salt.
Good source.
We gotta take it with a grain of salt. Listen, great man, source. We're reaching, man. We're just trying to extend. We're trying to get that watch time, baby.
Make sure Wikipedia sources here too. You going 2 for 2, buddy?
All right. You guys want to run the show?
No,
no, you got it. You're doing a great
I'll
job.
shut this whole bitch down, man. I will shut this whole bitch down.
You're doing a phenomenal job, man.
I'll just make sure y'all internet connections work. How about that? I don't want to hear that shit.
Hey, I can't promise that.
Yo, can we get a Patreon donation going for this man's internet?
Yes.
Just know we've been struggling today. Next story I got for you guys is the future of DC games will now be connected to the DC movies, confirmed by James Gunn. James Gunn is now basically DC's trying to make James Gunn the Kevin Feige, who basically runs the Marvel movies, and all future DC games will be connected to the movies, the DC cinematic universe, which is interesting because I'm like, do they even have one right now after what just happened with The Rock and Black Adam? Because what happened at the end of that movie, I was like, oh, they're bringing it back, and then the movie failed. It lost them a bunch of money, and then they just canceled Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman 3. 1984 was that bad? I didn't watch it. It was that bad?
That movie sucked, bro.
I didn't see that
movie sucked. Well, my wife said that the movie sucked. She liked the first one. When she didn't like the movie, I was like, yeah, this movie's bad.
So why did I bring this story up for the podcast? The reason I think this matters is because I'm looking forward to the Suicide Squad and other future DC games, because the Arkham games are great. But if now they're going to force to tie the games into the movies, this becomes problematic because the movies fucking suck. Imagine them trying to write a story or gameplay mechanics and force feeding it with that DC cinematic universe. Do y'all think, I mean, that's just my hunch. I think that could become a problem. Do y'all think that could become a problem?
Yeah, because I think we've seen plenty of trends that video games that are tying into the movies have been bad. And that mostly comes down to they're trying to release the game around the same time as the movie, or vice versa. It's usually the video game around the same time as the movie, and then that crunch comes in, that timeline comes in, and then the movie, just ends up not. I mean, the video game ends up, being trash. But the Arkham games by itself, not being tied to any of the Batman movies, have been amazing. So we've seen that then when they're not tied to anything, that they end up being good. So if we're trying to kind of double back and try to tie them together, then yeah, there is a potential for the video games to actually be bad. So I'm kind of worried about this one. I'm not gonna lie.
Breaking news. I don't know if you guys saw the group chat. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is now available for pre-order on the PlayStation Store. I'm looking at these images. There's no release date though.
How long before it comes to PC, you think? 2 years? A year?
A year.
Yeah.
There's a trailer that's supposed to drop the 13th, but the fact that it showed up on the PSN store, that means it's probably going to drop soon. Maybe like spring 2023, I'm going to guess. Maybe, possibly.
If not, then, hopefully the summer. I'll say second quarter.
The second trailer for the Mario movie dropped. Did y'all get a chance to look at that?
During the Game Awards, right?
Yeah, that one, right?
I think they did reshow it during the game. It dropped before the game. Yeah, I think they did reshow it. Yeah, did y'all get it?
The Awards.
Yeah. Well, how are we feeling about this movie? This is the second trailer. Chris Pratt. It's a me, Gabagoo.
I'm still on board with it.
I think it looks good. It looks like
just don't like Chris Pratt's voice. That's it. Like everything else though.
That's the main complaint. I don't really see anybody complaining about anything else, like, because everybody loves Jack Black, like, as Bowser. Like, that's a main thing. Like, oh my god, this is so good. Nobody's really complaining about Keegan doing Toad. Like, so it's literally just Chris Pratt. Like, nobody's complaining about Luigi either. So it's just Chris. I think that it looks good though. The second trailer got me more into possibly seeing it day one. I'm just worried about, like, well, I got a daughter, so I guess it's really not gonna matter. She doesn't really know anything about Mario, but at least I can roll in with her. But you try to roll in that day one with all the kiddos, bro.
Hey, I did it with Sonic. I don't care. I like Mario. Right. We need a new. It's been a while, man. I'm ready to go back to New Donk City, bro. It's been a while. We need a new one.
That was funny how Donkey Kong beat the dog shit out of him in the trailer.
Oh yeah,
crack it out.
Rolled up.
just pop.
I'm telling you, bro, because there's gonna be a sequel. There's no way this. I would be shocked if this movie bombs at the box office. He's got mass appeal. I was saying, like, for the sequel, they got to do a Luigi's Mansion movie. Like, Mario gets captured, and now it's up to Luigi since he's already in this movie. I think that could actually work. Because Luigi's Mansion is hella underrated. It's a great game. But yeah, it looks good. It's dropping in April. One thing I hope is that I hope this is like the last trailer. Don't be like Ubisoft and don't oversell the movie. I think they might fall into the trap of showing a little bit too much, and that might maybe wear some people away because they're like, oh well, I've seen the whole movie in the trailer. I hope that they don't show too much and just let people come through. It's Mario. It's gonna sell itself. Don't wear yourself out before you even get to the damn movie. But yeah, that drops in April. What other news we got for you guys? New Dead Island gameplay. They just had a showcase. Showed off some more of the world, some of the weapons you can combine, some of the gruesome attacks you can do. How are we feeling about Dead Island 2, JG?
I'm still not on board. I remember that raw footage that we saw at first. I was like super turned off. But I mean, I think that the new one gives me a little bit of hope, but I'm still just kind of like, man, like, I think that this is like 5 years too late for them to,
5? I say 10.
Okay, even longer. Yeah, it just still looks like dated. Like, I don't see anything new. I don't see anything pushing the boundaries with this. I just see it being a generic, just zombie shooter,
co-op game that you can play with your friends.
Yeah, it's nothing.
The one unique thing that they did reveal that it has going for itself is you can transform into a zombie, and it's like your rage mode. But then I'm like, what? Am I the enemy now? Like, I'm confused by that.
It's probably another one of those situations where like you're infected with the virus, but you can control it somehow until you can't control it anymore. Yeah, you're one of the the zero
ones.
patients or whatever. Yeah, patient zero. Is it the good ones? Yeah, I kind of wish that they just would have just kept it scrapped. I don't think that anybody is looking for this. I don't think that anybody needs this. We're done with the zombie genre. I think that that was another genre that was very weird. All these zombie games coming out. I just don't think that we need it anymore. Like we're just kind of past that point.
I think the only way this game is going to find success is if it strategically places itself on its release. Like this game cannot come out around another major game, especially because 2023 is stacked. But if it drops maybe like in the summer when things are a little bit light, it's got a window for itself. I think it has a chance, but like they have to be real strategic about where they release the game, unlike Sega with Sonic Frontiers. What do you think, Ethos?
I don't really care.
I respect that. I respect that.
I don't care. Yeah. Don't really care about that island, to be honest with you.
Okay. You don't want to play the zombie game, Joe? Well,
nah.
What about modders?
I played Dying Light. Dying Light did me in.
What about modders fixing Pokemon? You know, the game is janky. They dropped the patch. Apparently, it did nothing. But modders on PC fixed the game. So apparently, the best way to play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is on PC, which I didn't even know was possible. But yeah, allegedly, it's running at. This is alleged footage of it running at 60 frames per second on PC. Oh my goodness. So yeah, just be aware that's the best way to play. That's all I got for the news. I could not find any social justice stories for you, JG. Are you aware of anything going on in the world that just really grinds your gears?
Nah, not really. It's actually been pretty light. Like I think the biggest controversy related to Sonic botters and the and obviously the game of the year.
Wait, no. There was one. Tell the world how you feel about the new streaming site that's owned by the casinos.
Oh,
I forgot about. I just remembered that, Joe. Yeah. Let the people know what's going. Let them know that story.
Yeah, so Kick, so popular streamer Trainwreck TV. He has been increasingly getting upset with Twitch and their practices. He's been known for gambling on this site called Stake. They're an offshore gambling site that hosts a lot of big name streamers like Aiden, Trainwreck, and even Drake.
Drake.
Drake. Yeah, so Drake gambles a lot on Stake, and they be throwing away a bag. Like, and when I'm talking about a bag, I mean a bag to just gamble. And so a lot of people be doing that a lot. I don't know if people if they remembered the controversy when people were like, "Oh, this gambling is bad. This gambling is bad," and then they kind of forced Twitch to change their policies, on gambling or whatever. So a lot of people who were actually, on Stake, they got kind of pissed at that, and Trainwreck was one of them. So I think it's more of a veil to try to say like, hey, I still want to gamble and do my thing, but I don't like the way that Twitch changed these policies. Therefore, like, I want to find somewhere else. So enter in this new Twitch streaming site called Twitch competitor called Kick. Trainwreck put out like a lengthy little tweet longer talking about blah blah blah. I'm sad because Twitch is treating me like crap. So let's go to this new site called Kick. So they were promising things like 95% split on everything. Everybody becomes a partner day one. Things like that. Which we don't know if these are false promises or not. But apparently the way that they're able to do this is because Stake has a lot of freaking money and they can get a lot of advertisers to come in and basically front all of this so that all the people that stream on the website can get this enormous percentage compared to Twitch, which we're doing 70-30 for a lot of the bigger streamers and 50-50 for everybody else. And so a lot of people started doing their sleuthing or whatnot because Trainwreck didn't mention like who owned Kick,
what,
and it turned out to be Stake.
What is sleuthing?
Sleuthing.
You
know what sleuthing is?
Nah. Internet sleuths.
What is that?
Sleuth? Just research. Sleuthing? Just researching, bro.
Just Google.
I'm not a fucking nerd, bro.
This freaking guy, bro.
Put that on my body.
Just
I'm
words.
Did you watch Scooby Doo?
Yeah, I didn't watch every dog. Scooby-Doo came out like in night during the Vietnam War, nigga. What the fuck, bro? You know how many episodes of Scooby-Doo
So you don't know
there
what
is?
sleuthing is?
I don't know. Okay. So you're one of those people, so because I don't know every quote in SpongeBob. Next topic.
anyways, that word was beyond him. Ethos.
You don't watch
know,
TV.
bro.
I
Yeah,
I don't rock my brain.
So people found out because Trainwreck said that I don't own Kick, or I don't have anything to do with Kick, but I've been working with them, and turns out that Steak is the one that actually owns Kick. So a lot of people are like, oh my god, like you're the reason why you're backing them is because you've been on Stake and you've been gambling for a long time. So people are like extra wary. Actually, if you go to the website, people found out that it's literally using Twitch's code in order to run the website. So it looks almost 1-to-1, exactly the same as Twitch's homepage and whatnot. And one time when people were on there, they saw 2 naked men wrestling at the front page. So yeah, this website it looks like the Wild West right now. So if you want to hop on that, go ahead.
And how does that make you feel?
Whatever, bro. Like I just think it's another one of those points where like the rich are getting richer. Like I understand that you have a problem with Twitch, like a lot of people do, but this man is at a point where he's made so much freaking money that it doesn't matter if he leaves Twitch tomorrow. Nobody will bat an eyelash, and I think that his money will ultimately not be affected because he's already getting hella money from Stake themselves, along with whatever other revenue revenue streams that he's getting. So he can go to this other streaming website and do whatever the hell he wants. It's not going to matter for them.
I think what's interesting about this story is like, I'm not for or against gambling. It's not my money. Do whatever the fuck you want to do with your money. I think what's interesting is like, if he wants to gamble, why does he need to stream it? Like, just go gamble, bro. If you genuinely enjoy hitting the casinos, just go do it. Like, why do you need to?
He's being paid. He's being paid to show it off to potentially.
He said, "Money the root of all evil," huh?
Yes.
That's crazy. That's a bar right there. That's crazy.
Exactly. So I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Like, I don't think that a lot of people that are in bed with Stake necessarily like gambling outside of Drake, because we know that Drake literally loves gambling. Like, that's something that it seems like he's pretty addicted to. Like, he'll bet on any game, whatever, calls a curse for whatever team that he's betting on, like stuff like that. Like, he actually gambles. So that one makes sense. Aiden was another one that I found out about Stake through. He said he's addicted to gambling too. So some people actually do like gambling, but it's really just to show it off and get more people on the website. I mean, that's pretty much the premise.
CS:GO Lotto 2.0.
I mean,
sure.
It might be.
So what do you think? Go ahead.
They use cryptocurrency a lot for their main currency. They don't use regular US dollars, especially because they're an offshore company. They're not operating in the US. So
a lot of dark money. Going into that.
Yeah.
So what do you think the repercussions or the consequences for this move will be, JG?
For whom? Train wrecks or
what are your social justice warrior tingles giving you?
I mean, like I said before, I don't think there's going to be any repercussions for him. He's already made enough money that I think he could retire tomorrow and he'll be good, or he can get off of Twitch tomorrow and it's not going to affect his bottom line.
Or he's extremely in debt.
I mean, I didn't think about the other side of it. I mean,
see, I'm gonna roll the dice till I get myself out the hole, huh?
Yeah,
but a lot
which
of
we're not saying he is, by the way. That's just a theory.
That's just a game theory.
A lot of times, though, what I've heard is Stake doesn't even they don't even make you use your own money. A lot of times they already front them. Yeah, a lot of times they just front them.
The house always wins.
Just gamble on stream. Yeah,
it's kind of jacked up, because if you didn't know that, you think that they were risking their own money, but then when you realize that they're that they're sponsoring people to wager, basically bet, and people who fall for that, where they're sponsored, hey, you should check it out, I've been using this Stake thing, but they really have no risk. The risk is extremely low.
They're getting most of their money back. They might you might win once or twice, but you're gonna get most of your money back.
Money's your money back. But a person who falls for the sponsorship, who's like, oh, okay, well, my favorite streamer said it's cool, I'll try it. Their risk is astronomical because they're not getting that. There's no fodder for them. So
which brings on the predatory aspect, and that's what people were most upset about, is the predatory aspect. Once they figured that out, they're like, oh, you're not even using your own money. Hello, like if I come in here, I have to convert my own US dollars or whatever, whatever country that I'm in to cryptocurrency in order to even place bets and, play whatever game. So I'm at more risk than you are because you're not at risk at all. You're getting fronted the money. So that's where that comes in.
The rich get richer.
Ain't nothing gonna happen to Trainwreck at all. Ain't nothing gonna happen to him. It's more white people shit. So I'm tired of being in their business because it don't be affecting us.
Yeah, remember when Twitch was about playing games? It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right,
they playing some real games now. They play real games.
Yeah. The IRS
remember the shouting match that they had a few months ago about this?
Middle school shit, bro.
Yes.
That's all I got on the show notes. Y'all got anything y'all want to add to the show before we wrap this one up?
No, sir.
Okie dokie. All right. Ethos, your connection's hanging on by a thread, so you got the show
God
floor.
bless.
What is your closing statement for Gaming Illuminati episode
136?
Go.
Thanks everybody for stopping by. Shout outs to Elden Ring and shout outs to all my Elden Lords. We won this war. Commendable to the God of War stands. Y'all tried y'all best. You definitely tried to push the agenda. Didn't work this time, but hey, maybe next time, maybe next year. But I think it's all karma for how you guys did Red Dead Redemption a couple of years ago. So
I seen
what goes around comes back around.
I seen Anon say in the group chat that he's about to become the Elden Lord. I'm glad to see that he got off the Google Stadia and is probably playing some games.
It's not like he had a choice.
Right. We'll let him tell something. It'll be a different story. It was great.
Right.
JG, what's your closing statement for episode
136?
Go.
And appreciate everybody for coming through. Like TBA said in the earlier portion, the very beginning of the podcast, we are available everywhere and have been putting out constant clips every single day. So we want to continue that. Please continue to support us on whatever platform, TikTok, IG, Twitter, YouTube, all that GI updates. Again, like I mentioned before, we're pushing out all this content, daily content. So just continue to support the movement. We did see the overwhelmingly positive feedback about us finally being on video. So hope you all enjoy the new format because we are continuing to grow and push the boundaries of the podcast. So appreciate all support.
For sure. And my closing statement for episode
136
is we appreciate you coming through. If you're watching the video version on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're watching the video version on Spotify, what up? Hit the 5 stars, Spotify, Apple. What's the name? Next show. I don't know what games we're going to talk about. We got some other games we got to play. They probably won't most likely expose. They'll expose themselves because they don't play no games. So we'll continue the agenda, the Requiem agenda. I don't know what I'm really talking about because I'm hungry. A little lightheaded.
Feeling weak. Arms are heavy.
All right, Eminem. This has been Gaming Illuminati episode
136.
I appreciate y'all coming through. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
So,
you guys are black.
what was that, JG?
I don't know.
Bye, friends.
Like Barney.
Oh my
All right.
goodness.
Bye, friends.